Hey everybody, my name is Andrew.
My name's Kirk.
My name is Mason.
And what we're going to be doing today is just a small little podcast, but kind of going off the norm of podcasts. We actually will have something in the background for you to watch. So if you want to listen to this as you do really any daily activity or just listen to it to listen to us, that's pretty super. Pretty much what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be discussing whatever comes to mind. No real basic conversation topic for today. If you have anything you want to bring up or want us to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments section or just tell us another time. I want to bring up one thing first, and just to get us rolling. This is something I notice almost every day. It really seems like in the Texas area, roads don't ever seem to truly get repaired.
Neither in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada, anywhere.
And we're going to get right on fixing that. No, pretty much I'm just going to complain about it because it seems like whenever there's anything that messes a road up, whether it gets icy or anything, the construction teams, they rope off the area. They make sure you can only drive on one lane, usually the most destroyed lane on the entire road. They don't seem to ever fix that lane. And then they don't do anything for a good 2 weeks. They get warmed up. The construction teams get nice and ready to fix the road.
Get some push-ups done.
And they tear the old road up, throw some new concrete on about a good 10 feet of the 200-mile road.
Fix some potholes.
Fix a pothole.
One or three,
And then call it a day. And they go up, and about 5 years from now, they'll come revisit and do another good 20, 30 feet. So real solid work.
What really makes me worried is how the roads on bridges are positively destroyed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, did anybody hear the other day Congress released that statement that there are apparently like 20,000 structurally unsafe bridges in America? I would like to receive a list of those. Am I about to drive on a death bridge? Is that near my house?
Yeah, you probably need just a quick Google search. Am I about to just slip off and die?
Warning, bridges ice when cold. Also, this bridge may collapse.
Possible earthquake warning without earthquakes.
Just have a new road sign. All it is a frowny face. In front of any structurally unsafe bridge or road, there's just a frowny face or a picture of a dude just shrugging. Just a guy shrugging like, the road's okay. It's okay.
It could possibly kill you, but you just might save 3 minutes on your commute.
We did our best. Also, just avoid I-35 like the plague. I'm pretty sure that was designed for the sole purpose of recording car accidents.
It does.
Same thing
Good
with
media.
Good media.
Any road leading to high schools. Just car accidents like every other week. I
don't know. If you go through the neighborhoods, it's pretty safe. I mean, anywhere else isn't.
Yeah, but one of the roads leading up to our high school, that we used to go to, there's probably a car accident like every other week or so.
I will say there was one time I was giving 2 friends a ride home, and we saw on the way from the parking lot of our high school to the main road away from our high school, 3 car accidents, all involving teenage women.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay, a girl backed into right out of her parking spot straight into the side of another car. Then a girl didn't pay attention to the car in front of her, braked, and smashed into that. These are all different accidents. This isn't even one really long
The funny fact is, I don't think a single one of them had a cell phone. Is that saying something?
There was actually a survey that got done within about 2 days ago that parents or adults are more likely to use their phones while driving, especially texting while driving, than teenagers are.
I heard about that, and I completely believe it. I think, though...
I'd say so.
I think we should all thank Apple because they are truly pioneers of road safety. There's not a single thing harder on this earth while driving than pulling an iPhone out of your pocket, flipping it open, typing in your password, going to messages, going to contact, and then typing in what you want to text.
Paragons of the Texting Road Safety Institute.
I bet they sit around and they're proud of that.
I mean, like, my dad with his little holster doesn't have that problem, though. You know, the cell phone holsters?
Cell phone holster?
I got a quick lab on
Is there like an
draw.
age limit to how old you need to be to get that holster?
I need to quick draw my cell phone.
Just like, I got it, guys, don't worry.
Comes with custom gun app.
Yeah. Anyway, but my dad will be, like, driving
That's
home.
the noise gun makes.
Yeah. My dad will be driving home on I-70. We're in a minivan going like 80 miles an hour. My dad has one hand on the steering wheel, driving it partially with his right knee, and then on his cell phone at the same time, like, I found a cat picture, son. Would you like to look at it? I mean, Dad, please.
Please.
I can't even scream anymore.
In reality, though, I feel like
Helps you cut off those old, boring years of your life.
Yeah.
road safety, I feel like, is one of the newer forms of survival of the fittest. It truly does encourage people to just take their lives into their own hands. And I've asked Jesus a few times to help me drive while I text, and he has yet to take the wheel from me.
Which is
That was a song reference of the day.
one thing else to realize is that while all these things have been, texting and driving, and all these other things have been going into car safety, car accident fatalities have actually gone down a whole bunch.
There's more people on the road, more people driving. That, and I feel like less people pay attention.
But fatalities have gone down though, so that's good.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Transitioning topics a bit into something a little bit less morbid, into something more morbid, is I've always noticed there seems to be the disease of the year. Bird flu, avian flu, swine flu, and all that. And it seems like every year
I
Americans...
had swine flu plus once.
Swine flu plus. That's bonus swine flu. But what always seems to happen is the American media seems to pick a disease, and that's going to be the disease we're scared of the year. And even though we have things like, what is it called? Cancare?
Cancerum.
I think that's what it's called. I always forget how it's pronounced. But
It's kind of difficult.
But in the end, I feel like the flu kills 2,000 people on average a year, and we lost 13 citizens to swine flu. So
Influenza is much, much more lethal worldwide.
all right, so I'm going to lay down, here's where this is going. I'm going to lay down bets. What do you guys think is the disease to be scared of the year? Where do you think it's going to come from?
Tuberculosis. There's antibiotic-resistant tuberculosis popping up in California.
Oh, that's not thrilling enough. I say whooping cough makes a comeback. Good old-fashioned American whooping cough.
Black Plague, Pancreas Edition.
Pancreatic black plague.
Oh, yeah.
How do?
It's going to take over the world, man. That's going to be the next zombie apocalypse.
Wouldn't it just be cystic fibrosis, though? Pancreatic black plague?
You'd think.
Apparently, Oregon is also a really big thing for plagues. The entire West Coast is like a disease, breeding ground.
Speaking of Oregon, anybody who was watching the news last night might have seen about the 2 miles of Oregon cliffside that fell into the ocean, and it drug a few homes with it. Nobody died, but I always find that funny that humans love making our homes on dirt cliffs overlooking oceans.
How am I supposed to enjoy my nighttime dinner without an ocean view on a dangerous cliff?
If I can't parasail off the roof of my house into the Atlantic Ocean, it is not a house worth having.
That's just not living the
Well,
American
that would
dream,
be pretty
Andrew.
interesting from Oregon, just parasailing into the Atlantic Ocean, bam.
There was that guy in Florida whose house fell into a sinkhole while he was in it and he died. And I was thinking, that perhaps to me is one of the most terrifyingly horrible ways to die. You're in your bed, you hear a loud noise in your bed, and you fall into the ground and are swallowed up, and there's nothing you can do about that one. So, disease of the year, sinkholeitis. Sinkholes that track you down and swallow you.
That
Oh, my.
sounds
Is that like a Zerg invasion of some kind?
diglets everywhere.
Diglets You know what? It's Digdug's fault. He's probably causing the sinkholes. That kid has been digging unstructured, unsupported mine shafts for years. And it's about to catch up to him.
Just too much Minecraft in today's youth. They actually go out and start doing it.
I've been punching the tree in my backyard a good hour a day, and it is yet to collapse. I cannot get wood unless I can punch a tree down.
You need to punch harder then.
Okay.
You're not trying hard enough.
Now, I do have one more topic to bring up, but before I do, anybody else have anything they want to throw in before I go on another tirade?
No, you should definitely go ahead. I still have to think of something.
Continue on.
Oh gosh, this is exciting. Pressure's on me. Okay, so Benjamin Franklin once said that there are 2 things that are certain in this world, death and taxes. I think there's definitely a third one that needs to be added for anybody who knows. Student loans. Okay, the state of Texas is pretty famous for its leniency on what taxes you do and do not need to file. And in fact, it's one of the few states that has a lot of loopholes for getting out of paying taxes that a lot of states need to have. But
Thank God for Texas.
Thank God for Texas. If you are on your deathbed, you will be paying your student loans. It seems to me like America likes to push teens and push kids to go to college. It seems like success is not achievable unless you've gone to college. But student loans will stick with you almost your entire life, and there doesn't seem to be many sources for people to take care of that. It just seems to be a burden you're shouldered with and just expected to trooper on through. For example, if you die without paying your student loans, that gets shouldered on your family. They will transfer the debt of your dead son onto your parents because you went to college and you deserve it.
Don't think of it like a burden. It's kind of like that very old friend that you hate who keeps coming over and stealing your couch and your Cheetos.
That student loan just likes to visit me every once and again.
And hangs out, takes some beer, runs off.
But the question is whether college is actually worth it or not. All those years of student loans, if that is measurable to the success of increased probability of having the job you want, more likely an increase in pay.
A lot of companies
Stability.
have been saying that they're looking for a lot more in experience than college degrees, and with new laws that mandate that internships need to be paid, as in you can't have unpaid internships, which I'm excited about as somebody who's going to be an intern, but that makes it seem like you might not actually need college education if you can get those internship positions to get a lot of American middle-class income level jobs.
Well, you'd think with all the increased hype for knowledge and all that, there'd be an opening in the lower-end jobs that require less of a skill and more of a just time.
More job on-the-job training, more job experience. Whatever happened to trade schools? I know we still have trade schools, but one of the
I've
things...
always wanted to be a blacksmith.
Like carpentry. Carpentry is still a profession that there are trade schools in America that are still taught. And I just wonder if it's fair that America seems to push the fact that if you're raised in a middle-class neighborhood or a middle-class income area, you're just expected to go to college. But in lower income class areas, you're just expected to go to trade school. Not that I'm saying that Johnny McMoneybags driving to school in his papa's Rolls Royce will be going to learn locksmithing anytime
What a
soon.
poor choice of car.
Rolls Royce. Heavy as can be, and they don't do speed bumps too well, but pretty fancy. So I gotta wonder. I don't really feel like college is becoming as necessary as it used to be. With the modern influx of the availability of information of the internet, there are many wonderful websites where you can attend college lectures by professors for free, and TED Talk's not a great example of that, but also a good source of free information that do you still need college education to get some of these middle-class jobs?
It depends on the job. Like, if I'm talking about engineering, then it would be necessary to go to college for that. There are some things where you actually need to know, like thermodynamics, which are much more difficult to learn outside
If
of
you
a classroom.
if you remember, 20,000 structurally unsafe bridges. So it looks like the engineering bar is being dropped.
in that field. But
Bridge-making.
aerospace has been.
We need more
really
carpenters.
aerospace with the James Cameron and Google being like, we should harvest asteroids, which I guess for gemstones.
I think that's a cool. Well, most of the Earth's heavier metals, such as iron and nickel, were brought by some scientists theorize space impacts, as in meteors hit the Earth a long time ago, and that's how most of the planet got seeded with iron because
And nickel.
all that good stuff. And iron, there are pure iron meteorites. Easy way to mine them, and what they proposed, which I thought was a genius idea, because I always wondered how are you going to go to a body and mine on it if in space any action will immediately send it in the opposite direction. And it was pretty logical. They just said, we'll smash the meteors into the dark side of the moon and then go grab them later. And that sounded like a really logical, simple idea for me, because it's like, what, are we going to hurt the side of the moon that's been pounded by asteroids for thousands of years?
That'll definitely make Pink Floyd feel better, because for once there will be something on the dark side of the moon.
Oh my gosh, I hope they play that music like stereotypically whenever they go to the dark side of the moon for any reason.
Although, but you'd agree that that would be
Yeah.
something that you need to go to college.
Oh my God!
for.
If my surgeon was like, "Okay, well, I just watched a TED Talk on this and I'm feeling pretty good," I would cry, but then I would be under surgery. But so
If he was charging $20, you'd be more lucky
Like,
than in some countries.
Your anesthesiologist, what vein was it?
Anesthesiologist finds what stick looks to be about your mouth size for you to bite down on.
Surgeries would become more fun. They'd be a cooperative experience.
Team building.
Co-op
All right.
games would come back.
All right, Andrew, I need you to hold your ribcage open, but try not to exhale for the next minute or so. This is tricky.
It'll take a bit of willpower. If you fail, you'll die. If you succeed, you live, and we win.
So yeah, there's a bunch of professions that still require college education, but actually now that I'm thinking about it, back to the moon thing, why do we need to harvest asteroids in the first place? If we go to the dark side of the moon, wouldn't there be asteroid sources already on the moon, like 10 million years worth of asteroid impacts just on the moon?
Probably.
We'd have to dig deep enough for it, I bet.
But there's a whole bunch of other things that go into meteorites. Like I said, gemstones. There are some gemstones in meteorites, I think, that would almost require having it pass through an atmosphere of some sort.
So you're saying I should buy an asteroid for my girl for when I marry her?
People do actually.
Buy space
They're actually they're the color of the yellow-green crayon. You know that
the yellow-green crown.
Thank you for being so specific.
Our voices, now people are listening and they're going, oh, the yellow-green crown. All right.
You know, the one that's only good for, I guess, drawing snot and, I guess, asteroid...
Snot green?
Yeah, kind of. The one that apparently also works for asteroid gemstones.
Can we just quickly mention, Crayola just has the greatest crown naming since...
Oh my gosh, there is... Do you have to go to college to get that job, to be the Crayola naming guy? Because
You've got to at least have a master's in English, because what else will you use it for?
I hope
mac and cheese.
I hope so desperately. There's like a room of 10 people that they just sit in a room and it's just like a dream paradise room of colors, and they just sit around and they're just like, that is platypus fur brown.
And it goes great with burnt orange.
And they all high five, call it a day, and go home.
I'm just imagining like this round table with this one single crayon in the middle.
There's some great
like,
team building events.
8 people in business suits like, now sir, is that purple heart or violet?
Now, gentlemen, I've called you here for one reason and one reason only. And they just set this crown on the table. People's eyes start bleeding. We need to decide this color.
Is it yellow-green or green-yellow? Tell me.
Thunder in the background.
If we fail this, profits will fall.
The world depends on us, gentlemen. We are Crayola. We are the only thing that stands between America and the darkness. And whatever those off-brand crowns are, like crayon brand crowns.
Rose art.
One day, Great Value will have its own crown brand. They're taking over pretty much everything in the local grocery stores, at least.
I still remember being a little kid at Chili's, at the restaurant Chili's, and getting the kids menu and getting their crowns and being infuriated by they used to be, they might have changed by now, I haven't gotten a kids menu in a few years, but they used to be crown brand crowns. Like the side of the crown would just say crown on it. Like how terrifying is that for product security? Imagine if you got a car and someone asked what kind of car is that, and you replied to, it's a car brand car, it was made by car. Can't you see? It's a car. This is I'm drinking water brand water, which I would actually like to do that. It would be a hipster brand of water, and all it says is water.
It's a bit understream.
It's a lowercase W with capital ATER. Hipster brand water.
Yeah. Sounds successful.
It'll be big. It'll be big. All right. Does anybody else have anything to add or mention? Bring up thoughts, feelings, comments, concerns, or emotions?
How about those college degrees that are positively worthless? Like. And when I mean worthless, I mean like they are just there's so many of them, and people use them so many times that
like the general education. Like I'm sure people like are you
political science.
Okay, so you're not talking like general education or general business degrees. Those like 2-year degrees that everybody has that they think will get them a job, but it really won't. Because we have to be honest, there are 2 types of useless degrees. There are the general education and general business degrees, which in today's job market really won't get you jobs, because I would rather take let's just do a quick poll around the circle here. Is if you as a person trying to hire someone for a job, would you rather take somebody who had a 2-year general education college degree, which means they essentially took their high school classes again but paid a lot of money for it, or would you rather have somebody who had 5 years experience in the field?
5 years experience.
Well, I'd take the other guy because he's probably cheaper and desperate for a job. But if I wanted quality, I'd definitely take the 5 years.
Okay, so we have it. College kids are now cheap sources of labor for companies. But yeah, the other type of useless degree would be those poli-sci majors and those philosophy majors, the English majors. And that always makes me sad to think that there are things that you could be passionate for that literally don't have money in it.
Psychology is the one that makes me the saddest, because
unless you get that doctorate.
Yeah, it's unless you get that master's or that doctorate, because
you're just going to be teaching psychology essentially then,
or handing out coffee at Starbucks.
Yeah, but
that's a successful career.
I know a lot of people who go into medical programs will minor in psychology or minor in something like biology. So some of the more useless degrees, like I know a person who went to medical school. They went to UT Medical School in Galveston. With their minor in college, they majored in biology, but they minored in Swahili. Like the African language Swahili, which, by the way, University of Alabama offers Swahili. So if you really want to do that, UA. Anyway, but it's one of those funny things where it's like, are these really interesting parts of humanity and human life and education destined to just be goofy minors you take before you become a doctor, or what?
Well, I mean, if you're with the Red Cross, well, Healy's not a bad choice, but I can't see it being useful anywhere else. But it would be fun to prank your friends with it.
I guess if you have that experience, you try to find the job that matches. But who is the philosopher who said, like, think about what you want to do, not what you want to make money with? If money was no object, do what you want to do, and then just go do that. Like, name the thing you really, really want to do. And I'm lucky to say that the thing I really, really want to do actually can get. I want to be a general practitioner, and that can get money. There's a lot of doctors out there, I'm pretty sure, who make good money being a doctor.
And I want to be an aerospace engineer, and so that makes money.
Yeah, I'm following the path of doing what I love and hoping for money. I'm going for programming video games.
Hey, look at that. Topical.
Yeah.
But although in so many psychology majors, they typically the ones that are just the bachelors get stuck with jobs that are like working with like those free therapists that you can see at some community centers, and they just end up being awful therapists. Psychology is not a field for everyone, but everyone wants to be in it.
I have to say, I would like to motion for a proposed pay raise to anybody who's a nurse. Those people are incredible. Like, as somebody who spent time in hospitals and looked around, like, nurses have to do such a ludicrous amount, but they're not paid as much as doctors. And I feel like it's been increasingly, they're getting a lot more respect rather than, of course, when they used to. But nurses nowadays are expected to have such high levels of education and dedication because they're supposed to be almost as well educated as a doctor, but they're also supposed to be able to take care of patients with a smile, patients who don't think they know what they're doing, and they have 20 plus patients. Nurses just amaze me every time I see it. So,
and they have horrible hours. I've been in hospitals a lot recently because of my mom, and their hours there are just terrible.
Yeah, like sleeping.
There are some awful patients I've seen around.
Sleeping in your car in the parking lot level of terrible. But yeah, so shout out to nurses. And I think we're actually coming to a pretty good close for our first episode. Try to catch us again pretty soon. This has been Andrew Fishman.
This has been Kirk.
This has been Mason.
And we're signing out.
Peace.